friends, welcome to Bookish Bliss, our virtual book club. Every week we will dig into a section of chapters in our favorite books. Let's get started.
Hey book besties, and welcome back to Bookish Bliss for episode 96. We have a lot to discuss today.
We are continuing our journey through Sarah J. Maas's tandem read of Empire Storms and Tower of Dawn, and this week it's all about chapters 52 to 56 in Empire of Storms and 36 to 42 in Tower of Dawn. So you don't have to read the entire books to listen, but you do need to be caught up on the chapters we're covering because we are going full spoiler mode. Amanda, darling, what are you drinking tonight?
A good old water. Poland Springs, because I just drank my AGZ and I need something nice and clean to wash it away.
Yes.
What are you drinking tonight, darling?
I am going to be drinking a little Diet Coke.
How cute.
Because I need some caffeine because I'm a sleepy gal with all my travels and adventures.
I know. She's been on the road.
I have.
Her one night home, she's dedicating to BBP.
Yes. My one night home is crazy. All right.
So funny.
Cheers to part 9.
Part 9
of our tandem read and episode 96 of Bookish Bliss. Cheers.
Cheers.
I don't think we've ever had a part 9 before.
No. Maybe for Iron Flame, because that one was really long.
Yeah.
But we're
It's
about to have a
crazy.
part 10 for sure is the first time for a part 10. We would remember part 10.
For sure, part 10. We have what? After this week, 3 more weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Amy will be joining us for final thoughts. Which is so
Indeed.
exciting.
So exciting, darling.
What is your bookish news this week?
Bookish news. Well, I've been obsessed with the Vampire Diaries series.
I know, that's so
I
funny.
loved the TV show, but I just listened to the 3rd book, The Fury, and the 4th book, The Reunion. I'm on the 5th book right now. And today I just started and finished a Frida book. Do you remember? It was actually really good.
Was that like a short story or like a full story?
No, it was a full story, but I listened to it while I did shit all day. It was only like 7 hours, and I don't listen on one speed, darling. I listen on 1.75.
1.75. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Maybe I need to start going to 1.75. I only do 1.5.
Ugh, I just get bored if it's too slow and I can't pay attention. It needs to be fast so I stay focused,
Yeah. I definitely don't listen at the normal speed because they're like, hi, then
Yeah,
this happened.
literally.
I can't do that.
No, I cannot. I can't listen to anything on one speed. Unless it's a part that I need to specifically pay attention to, I will put it down to 1 just for that part to like
Mhm.
really soak it in, like if it's really world buildy or something, but no,
No.
never. What about you, darling? What have you read this week?
Well, I haven't finished anything, which I don't think is surprising to anyone at this point, but I have been reading more. I am about 100 and something pages into our in-person book club book, Ghostwriter by Julie Clark,
Nice.
which is really good because, like, as everyone knows, I'm not the biggest thriller fan, but liking that one. And then I'm about 77%
Wow.
through Hexed by Emily
Yes.
McIntyre, which I'm thoroughly enjoying.
Hell yeah.
I thought I was broken after reading Taurus season, but now I realized I wasn't broken. It was just the book.
Yep. Yep. For sure.
So that's kind of my update. I did read one chapter of what's the Veiled Kingdom book number 2 called?
Yeah, The Hunted Heir.
The Hunted Heir.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I need to save my battery on this plane, so I started reading Ghostwriter
Yeah.
instead.
I think I'm on chapter 5 of The Hunted Heir because I started that today too. Well, that's good, darling. I'm glad you're reading more and you're a world traveler right now. So you got to read when you can.
I know. Yes. Me and Christina, who's right here. I have a special guest just for moral support tonight.
Christina, she can't hear me, but hey.
It was mid-sip.
Yeah, she's mid-sip. So I like drag her. I'm like, she's drinking Diet Coke. I'm like, get over here. So we're going to Vegas tomorrow. So we're super excited.
Yes, darling. How exciting.
But yeah, Christina listens to a lot of audiobooks. She flies through thrillers like it's her job on a thriller. So, what speed do you listen at?
1.
One?
Normal.
Wow.
I can't do it fast. It throws
Amanda
After all the
gasps.
shit I just talked.
She didn't hear you. Yeah, she listens at 1.75.
Doesn't that like distort the voices?
Slightly, but not really.
Not really.
So not really. Yeah. So
Slightly.
funny. I think 1.5 does a good job of not doing that, but
yeah, it depends. Like sometimes the guys sound worse faster than the girls because I feel like they just generally speak faster than the girls, but I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started with the good stuff and break down the tandem read part 9, darling. We are starting with you tonight.
And ending with me.
Yes,
Woo!
my favorite kind of night.
I know. Hopefully next week
a
I have
little
a little
Amanda
reprieve.
sandwich.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think next week it's all because we start with all the odds again.
Yeah.
We just go back and forth, being the sandwich of the week.
Yes, the sandwich of the week. All right, we're starting tonight back in Tower of Dawn. We haven't been in Tower of Dawn for 2 weeks, so we're back with Tower of Dawn chapter 36. Kale's healing continued steadily with the atrophy in his legs reversing. Within 3 weeks, he regained movement up to his knees and could bend his legs, though he still couldn't move his upper thighs or stand. As his strength returned, he grew fitter and tan, something Irene privately enjoyed, as working with Kale became a central part of her daily routine. He rejoined her for defense lessons, bringing discipline to the acolytes, and even taught Irene techniques for fighting larger attackers. Despite this progress, there was still no confirmation of who had attacked Irene or whether the Valg were responsible. Irene saw Cashin only once after her attack at a formal dinner held to thank him for his help the night of the attack, after which she returned to Kale's side. Meanwhile, Kale and Irene struggled to find a way to manipulate Hussar into taking them to the Asar Oasis without revealing the hidden scrolls in Kale's room, and time was quickly running out. With the Coggins' return, formal dinners resumed, including one that turned into a political ambush orchestrated by Hussar and Argan. Information about Nezrin and Sartark's delayed return and Aylin's actions in Skulls Bay sparked tense debate. Reports claimed Aylin had conquered Skulls Bay and was threatening Eelway, raising fears that she could just as easily conquer the southern continent. Kale defended Aylin's character, but refused to swear on Irene's life that she would never do such a thing, unsettling the table. Cashin argued that aiding with Aylin could be strategically beneficial, while the Coggin dismissed the discussion as unsuitable for dinner, though he appeared troubled by what he'd heard. Kale and Irene lost their appetite afterward. Kale grew increasingly frustrated with Hussar and Argan. Hussar's reluctance to leave her comfortable life and Argan's obsession with power made them impossible to reason with without leverage. Privately, Kale reflected on Aylin's capacity for brutality and doubted whether even her court could restrain her. He wondered if her actions had already cost them the war and their last chance at a future. Later, Cashin secretly entered Kale's rooms and revealed crucial information. Antiquan engineers had developed a new weapon, the Fire Lance, which Rolf had ordered months earlier and continued to commission now that he was allied with Aylin. Though the weapons were profitable, Cashin admitted he wanted to fight only if his father permitted it. Kale focused on strategy, asked when the Coggin would next be meeting with his foreign trade vizier. Well, that could have been multiple chapters.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why we're only in the 30s in TOD.
I'm just
and
like,
all the way in the 50s in Empire of Storms.
Yeah. Like, obviously, great news that Kale is now having more movement in his legs. He's getting stronger every day, working out with the guards at the palace. And Irene still has her huge crush on Kale. Even noting when she's thanking Cashin for his help in the attack, that she then moves to the safety of Kale's side, which I thought that was very interesting wording.
Exactly. She has officially made her choice without making her choice.
Literally. Then the Coggin returns from his summer palace, like to avoid the heat. He's now back here. Formal dinners have resumed. And of course, we have to have a political ambush on one of the first nights back with the prince and princess. And I thought we moved past all of this nonsense with Kale questioning Aylin's character
I
and
know.
her motives. And I'm like, you really couldn't swear on Irene's life that she would never be a conqueror? Really?
I know.
I thought that was a little ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I get that she's like very unpredictable and you never know with her, but like she's not evil.
Right. She's never been evil. She's never done anything to
Yeah.
hurt any of the people she loves. And Kale is someone that she would protect. So to this day. And so, yeah, she's never going to let anything happen to Irene either. And they have a connection that Kale doesn't even know about yet.
Yeah. Weird.
But yeah, so I did not like that, but obviously interesting news about these fire lances. That's some
Yeah.
new information, new weapons that we didn't know about previously being brought into this war. And so I think with what the Iron Teeth witches have developed, and now we have a new weapon on our side as well. So maybe this balances things out a little bit.
Hopefully. We
We'll
need all the help
see.
we can get on our side.
Yes.
Tower of Dawn, Chapter 37. Nezrin and Sartok spent several days lingering in the mountains while Falcon recovered, delaying their return to the remaining watchtower ruins. Sartok, however, had no trouble filling the time. He brought Nezrin to the western and northern areas to meet Hearth mothers and captains, some warm and welcoming, others polite but brief. Even so, Nezrin remained surprised by how openly the Ruckin accepted her. Sartok even let her ride Kadara alone, and the freedom of it made her feel unbound. Together, they traveled from clan to clan, helping with chores and daily tasks. Among the Ruckin, no one was above work. Nezrin found herself unable to imagine returning to Rifthold, trapped in palace meetings. She didn't want that life anymore. Sounds like one of my little predictions coming true. One evening, the Hearth mother asked for a tale from a darlin, and Nezrin offered to sing instead. Her voice captivated the gathered riders, and they begged for another song. Sartok murmured that it was yet another story to spread about Neith's sorrow, and he watched her with a new, unmistakable intensity, one Nezrin did not shy away from. When Falcon finally healed, they set out for the three watchtowers Hulin had identified. The first two revealed nothing, and each night they returned home to rest the rooks. Bort spent the downtime pestering Falcon with shapeshifter questions. Where food went when he shifted, whether he relieved himself as an animal, much to Sartok's amusement and Falcon's mortification. With only one tower left, Nezrin felt the weight of her 3-week deadline, and Sartok clearly did too. On the way, they spotted a wild ruck. Sartok explained that its rider had died. Rucks were free to choose whether to remain in the area or bond with someone new. The choice was always theirs. Sartok then confronted Nezrin about what she told Kale, that her time here was ending. He was disappointed to learn that she had asked for only 3 weeks more. The wild ruck, he said, would have to wait for another rider. Nezrin asked Bort how she had chosen Arcus, and Bort explained that they had chosen each other. She had known the moment she saw the fuzzy-headed hatchling peeking from the nest, even though Arcus was small and her mother had scolded her for choosing her. Bort urged Nezrin to take the ruck in the Eyrie for a ride anyway, even if she planned to leave soon. Nezrin hesitated, thinking it unfair to both of them, but Bort insisted. The final watchtower had partially collapsed, leaving only an open-air chamber accessible. While they searched, Bort gathered blades for trade, clearly picking up habits from Falcon. Suddenly, Kadara screamed. They rushed to her and found the Burlad clan, led by Uran, the notoriously unfriendly Eyrie. Uran explained they were searching for 3 missing hatchlings. Falcon, in wolf form, sat protectively beside Nezrin, prompting Uran to remark on Sartok's unusual companions. Uran warned them not to track the missing hatchlings any further. The Karankui lurked beyond, and if they were stirring, the Rukin would need to gather a host to drive them back. Bort spat at Uran and called him a bastard, only for Nezrin to learn the two were betrothed. Nezrin realized it was time to rethink their approach. A new strategy was needed, and fast.
Well,
Wild chapter, but also I have to say, I'm giving myself flowers because this is the biggest foreshadowing chapter, I think, in my opinion anyway, for Nezrin staying in the Eyrie in the southern continent with Sartok. And there's some more foreshadowing that I will point out when we get into the other chapters, but this one specifically, like, she literally is saying she's not going home. She asked for 3 more weeks, but she knows how much already has changed within her in 3 weeks, 3 more weeks. Like, she's gonna be like, "What the where's Rifthold? Like, what is Rifthold?"
I know. But also the disappointment with just asking for 3 more weeks. Like, she's there to do a job
Yeah.
that she's not currently really fulfilling.
No.
Kind of, sort of, if you could squint your eyes at it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because she most likely is going to get this group of riders to fight in the
Yeah,
war.
she's bonding with them so that they are gonna wanna fight with her. So I guess that's good for the allyship, but is she actually finding Valg and plotting against evil? No.
No, because I think it's in one of my chapters too, when they're like, what's the update on like the Valg situation? And it's like, well, Kale's like, I can't do anything. I can't go looking. I can't
Yeah.
stand. And with Nezrin gone, like nobody's really out there searching if
Yeah.
Erewhon's already here.
Yeah. Well, I think they had this extra time because Falcon was still recovering because they had to delay their trip a little. So they were
Right.
trying to find the Karen Kui, but obviously they have hit a roadblock because they need him.
Yeah.
But I also do think she sort of convinces herself that she's still doing the mission because she is trying to find these Karen Kui, which are Valg. Although,
Mhm.
do they know they're Valg? Because I know Aelin knows they're Valg, but I don't know if they know they're Valg.
I will not confirm nor deny.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to say I don't think they know because I feel like Aelin found that information out
Hmm.
and nobody, like, who told Aelin? I don't even remember. Aelin knows, right?
I don't know. Does she know?
Somebody knows because we learned about it in these books,
Yeah.
but I can't remember
But the
who
only time
knows.
the spiders have been brought up is with Nezrin. So does Nezrin call them Valg?
Yeah, it was Nezrin because the Hearth Mother tells them the story of the rip in the world, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it was her. So it wasn't even Aelin that knows.
Yeah.
Okay, so she is kind of fulfilling her mission then because she's still going after the Valg.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
in a different way.
Yeah, just in a different way.
And
But
she gets to
definitely
be
with the wild rock, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's gonna definitely be a scene where she's riding a wild rock and they're bonding and she can't leave this rock. And yeah, for sure in our future.
Yeah.
Nezrin's one of them for sure. I love Bort too. She's like, what does it feel like as a duck? What does it feel like to shit as an animal? I'm like, this bitch.
She's so
She
funny.
can't come on our mission. She's too distracting.
Yeah. She has too many questions.
Literally. But we run into Uran, who we find out is actually betrothed to Bort.
Oh, shit.
Wild, which we learned more about that. But that was a shock to me. I was like, whoa, betrothed?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? And Nezrin's like, okay, we need to fucking chill out for a second, rethink what we're going to do here because this is just wild.
This is getting a little out of control.
Yeah, just a little.
Let's switch over to Empire of Storms, chapter, what is this?
52.
52. Lurkin and Alide bypassed Lariba and Benjali, instead following the waterways of Eelway, guided by the dark god's pull as Lorcan searched for Aelin. Alide never questioned his instincts, trusting that they were moving in the right direction. Lorcan realized that if the events unfolded in his favor, he could soon possess 2 word keys, though traveling to Marath with them would be dangerous, and seeking the third would likely cost him Alide and the others forever. They abandoned their boat and crossed the grasslands on foot, eventually reaching ancient ruins that immediately unsettled Alide. She sensed a terrible stillness there, life trapped beneath the ground, silence heavy with the presence of the dead. The beasts in the waters and the restless dead, she warned, did not tolerate trespassers. When Lorcan asked whether this warning came from the stone or Anieth, Alide replied that it came from her own heart. Even her goddess remained silent, unwilling to draw near. Alide questioned why Aelin would come to such a place, but Lorcan had no answer beyond the dark guard urging him onward. He explained the ruins were remnants of a long-forgotten kingdom destroyed centuries before his birth. The journey through the marshes was perilous, forcing Lorcan to carry Alide at times to evade beasts and snakes lurking nearby. On their 4th night, Alide asked about Maeve. Lorcan admitted she would kill him for his betrayals, yet he had loved her since the moment he first saw her. Though not her lover, he made himself indispensable to her. bound to Maeve by a blood oath, he believed he would never be free. Alide countered that love should bring happiness and make someone their best self, and she doubted Lorcan had ever known such a thing. Lorcan quietly responded that he did not mind being with Alide. When he half smiled, she touched his lips, and though he froze, he did not stop her. Alide offered him refuge in Pernath if he ever needed it, a place with her, and then kissed him.
Wild.
She told him he never had to answer the offer. He could simply arrive at her doorstep one day, and it would still stand. Lorcan kissed her back, and Alide wanted more, but the moment was cut short. Lorcan sensed immediate danger and told her they had to run. The Ilken were upon them, an army of them. Alide realized, however, that the Ilken were not coming for her.
Oh no, here we go with the war.
I know. It's so crazy. Tower of Dawn, we're just getting like little tidbits that get us excited, but then we're in the trenches in Empire Storms, and it's really hard to go back to Tower of Dawn when I just want to keep reading what's happening in Empire of Storms.
Yeah, 100%.
This part was just really cute. Obviously, Alide and Lorcan arrive in the marshes where Aelin and co will be, and they have this like little heart-to-heart on their fourth night hiking through the marshes, where she tries to get him to open up about Maeve, and Lorcan's like blind loyalty towards her, and he's basically like, I'll never break my vow. It's a blood oath, and I will honor it, and there's really not anything you can do about it.
Yeah.
But she was like, well, if there ever comes a day, if you don't want to die after your betrayal of going after the word keys without her permission comes and you want to live, you can always have a place with me, which was so cute. And then they make out.
I know. Everyone's really pairing off. It's like nonstop.
Everyone is pairing off.
In every single POV, there's multiple pairs.
Yeah. No one is really alone.
No. Wow.
She's like, I got to keep these chapters
spicy.
With love. It's a romantasy for a reason. Because this book is like heavily fantasy.
Heavily, yeah.
And
I would say more than
sprinkles in the romance.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I think Silver Flames, well, it had a lot of spice, but Silver Flames had the most. You had to figure things out, and things are still left unsaid at the end of Silver Flames, where the rest of the ACOTAR series, it was kind of like romance with the side of plot.
Yeah. Which I feel like kind of is how Throne of Glass is. Not so much the romance, but like the first couple of books are very like light plot.
Yeah. But all of it means something.
Like, yeah, exactly. It all means something, which is wild. It's all
the little plot that we do get in those books are very important.
Yeah. I was trying to explain to my aunt because I want her to get like into the series. I'm like, the first book is about this, but it's like nothing compared to the whole series, like nothing. And she was like,
it has nothing to do with anything.
Nothing. Yeah.
Kind of, but really no.
Yeah, it's like the perfect introduction, but like it just goes haywire from the first book.
Do you know what I don't miss though? The Ilken. And they just keep fucking popping up in every chapter, and I'm sick of their shit.
Well, now there's like 500 of them on their way. Literally black sky full of Ilken.
Yay.
Oh, God.
But before we get to any of that, we're going back into Tower of Dawn and staying with me for chapter 38. With Cashin's help, Cale forced his way into a foreign trade meeting, hiding his satisfaction when he recognized Hashim, Shen, and other guards he trains with standing watch. They allowed him entry, and Cale wheeled himself inside, announcing he had urgent business, though the Khagan was shocked and reminded him that such meetings required formal requests through his chief vizier. Cale clarified that he was there to address their foreign trade vizier and not the Khagan himself. Cale revealed that Rolf had placed 2 massive orders for fire lances, one before aligning with Aelin and an even larger one after, and demanded to know their cost. Declaring his intent to double Aelin's order, Cale offered the 4 trunks of priceless treasure as payment, already being assessed to confirm its value. He argued that even if the Empire refused to commit troops, nothing prevented them from selling weapons. The Khagan bristled at what he saw as an attempt at manipulation, despite acknowledging the profit involved. He demanded time and respect in the wake of his daughter's death. Cale countered with a dangerous claim that the princess might have been murdered and that Parrington could already be in Antigua, subtly influencing the Empire's decisions. Though dismissed, Cale let them left them with a stark warning. Marath would eventually come for Antigua, and when it did, there would be no allies left if everyone was already dead. He confessed he stood on the wrong side for too long and it cost him everything because of it, urging them not to repeat his mistakes. He was ordered never to interrupt a meeting again and was escorted back to his rooms. Meanwhile, Irene's anger towards Hazar hardened into resolve. She would manipulate the princess if necessary to get them into the oasis. When she reached Kale's room, she found him furious and despairing, recounting how badly the meeting had gone and how he had been wheeled out without dignity, unable to even kneel and beg. He admitted he wanted to leave the safety of Antigua only to die on the battlefield with his men. When Irene challenged him, asking him if he intended to heal just to die elsewhere, he answered yes, and she coldly told him then they should continue his healing immediately. Kale, overwhelmed and bitter, lashed out at Irene, accusing Hazar, Argan, Cashin, and even the Kagan of manipulating him and destroying his last chance to be heard. As Irene pushed him to stand, insisting he was strong enough, he resisted and hurled cruel words at her, questioning her worth compared to Aelin and accusing her of inaction while praising Aelin's vengeance. The moment the words left him, he knew he had gone too far. As Irene defended herself and turned to leave, Kale realized that if she walked out, he would lose her forever, and in desperation, he forced himself to take a step towards her.
Oh my God. He's walking, baby.
I was like falling asleep just like reading that summary. I hate these fucking Tower of Dawn chapters.
They're just so long.
I don't remember like hating this book so much the first time I read it. I think because I just read it too fast to even notice.
I don't think I hate it. I just think it's much more slower pace. So it's not my favorite to have to like switch over and not continue the intense, fast-paced craziness of Empire Storms.
Yeah. I mean, the meeting with the Kagan and like how Kale manipulated that, I think was pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
And ordering more fire lances and showing them how, profitable being in this war could be, and that it is Aelin and Dorian that they want to be allied with because it can help their continent in the long haul. And, I think Kale's right. You don't want to be on the wrong side of this. He was on the wrong side for too long, and it did cost him everything, including his legs, which he's slowly regaining feeling and strength, but that wasn't 100% possibility that would even happen.
Yeah, and he doesn't even know if he can get it back 100%. Like, yeah, he is making progress, but will he recover fully?
Right.
We hope so, but we don't know.
Yeah. And so, I don't know. I think this moment of it was skillful in that he made this power move with ordering more fire lances, but I think it was also like emotional at the same time because even though he didn't get on his knees to beg, I think that the Kagan could see how desperate and scared Kale is. And it's true. If they fall and the southern continent doesn't step in to help in this war, eventually Erewhon is going to come over to Antigua and destroy them.
You're not just going to be like, thank you for not stepping in. I'll leave you alone now.
No,
they'll be like, you're next.
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, they're just wasting time even thinking about it.
Yep.
Because you're next, and then you're not going to have anyone to help you because everyone will be conquered.
Yep.
And who knows? He might take another 10 years and build up his army again. And you'll be fucked. Yep. And your children's children will be fucked.
So I hope he can see that this is the best decision, but we shall see.
We shall see. Tower of Dawn, chapter 39. Kale was so focused on Irene, on her tears, on the hurt in her eyes, that he didn't even realize he was walking. He kept apologizing, admitting that none of the cruel things he'd said were meant for her, and that he'd only been lashing out at himself. Irene kept stepping backward in a slow, instinctive retreat, almost like a dance, until Kale finally noticed he was taking full, steady steps towards her. The moment of truth hit him. He was already standing right in front of her. He reached out, brushed away a tear on her cheek, lowered his head, and kissed her. More kissing.
More kissing.
He didn't want the kiss to end, but Irene gently insisted he sit before he strained his healing back. He obeyed, pulling her into his lap and kissing her again, unable to stop himself. Irene, though breathless, reminded him she needed to examine his wound. She wanted to see whether the darkness had receded on its own. Kaja arrived with the ingredients Irene had requested, abruptly breaking the moment apart. Once she left, Irene asked quietly what they were supposed to do now, after this shift between them, after everything that had happened. Kale answered simply that they couldn't look back. The only way forward was to go on. Irene smiled, and he smiled back, both of them knowing something between them had changed for the good.
No.
Yay! So he doesn't even realize he's walking. She's like egging him on some more and backing up, and he's just like, and you, and I'm sorry, and this, and that, and I didn't mean it. And then he's like, oh shit, I'm walking.
I'm walking.
And then by that time, she's like against the wall, and he starts making out with her.
More kissing.
I know. She still thinks, I think, that he's like so loyal to Nezrin because she says that, I think, in her POV in one of these chapters. She's like, like he still pretends to be loyal to her or whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, I think he pretty much shows you who his loyalty is to in this chapter for sure.
He always has, even when Nezrin
Yeah.
was around. He was always like, it's not what you think.
I know.
Like,
I know.
I only have eyes for you.
Well, now she should know. If she doesn't, she should.
Yes.
Something is definitely changing for the good. But she's already right back to business. She's like, okay, I need to see what's going on with the darkness in that wound of yours. Let's go.
Yeah. Stop kissing me. We got work to do.
Yeah.
Nope. You got to do the business before you can play.
Thank God for Kaja walking in, allowing them to get their heads on straight.
Oh, shoot. Tower of Dawn, Chapter 40. Although Kale could now stand and walk short distances with a wooden cane, he was far from fully healed. Irene continued to battle whatever remained lodged at the base of his spine, preventing full motion. Running, jumping, and kicking were still impossible, but steady progress allowed him to rejoin training. Irene attended his early lessons to guide the guards on strengthening specific muscles in his legs. Kale fought his first duel with Hashim one-handed, and his poor balance made the match rough, though Irene found the sight far more appealing than concerning. Seizing a rare moment alone, she pulled Kale into an alcove where they kissed and made out, carefully navigating the risks of her position at the tour and within the palace where privacy was scarce. Kale later walked into dinner for the first time without drawing much attention, though the Kagan openly praised Irene. She also successfully schemed her way into an invitation to Irene's birthday celebration at the desert oasis, proving that she was more capable of political maneuvering than she let on. Hazar warned Irene that the oasis was built atop a city of the dead and that they never ventured beyond its boundaries, unwilling to disturb the dead. When Kale asked what Irene wanted for her 22nd birthday, she admitted she would never have mentioned it if it were not for her scheming. Kale promised to accompany her into the desert and tried to think of a better gift than the oasis celebration, but Irene told him she already had everything she needed.
Aww.
I know. So
Yay.
I guess just the most important thing in this chapter is Irene was able to scam Hazar into throwing Irene a birthday celebration at the desert oasis, which we need access to get into those caves to see if we can find early information on the Valg, where these scrolls that are hiding in Kale's room even came from. So Irene was mad enough that she was able to manipulate Hazar into throwing this party. And so now the whole gang is going to the desert oasis.
Wild. Wait, is the stone Marcius? No.
No.
It's different. Okay.
Yeah.
We're on two different continents. Sometimes I'm like, wait, but no.
I know. One story is in the northern continent and TOD's in the southern continent.
Yeah.
But yeah, she wasn't even going to tell Kale, her now seemingly boyfriend.
Yeah.
Male lover.
Her eye
candy. That it was going to be her 22nd birthday.
I know. It's crazy to think how young they are and how much life they've lived.
I'm like, I wouldn't be doing any of this at 22.
Oh, hell no. I was barely getting up for class. And I started my job when I was 22.
Yeah, I know. I was out in California working my first big girl job at 22, but I was like...
Wouldn't be fighting no Valg in the fucking jungles. That's for damn sure.
That is very true. I'm not trying to be fighting anybody at any age.
Thank God we never had to go to jail and win a King's competition.
Yeah. Thank God we were never in
Endovier?
Endovier having to fight my way out of it.
I know. Thank God.
Yep.
Amen.
Amen. I'm dead.
Empire Storms, Chapter 53. For 2 miserable days, the group slogged through the stone marshes, swarmed by insects and stinging plants. Aelin kept an invisible ring of flame around herself, listening to bugs sizzle against it, but her magic was still so depleted that Rowan and Gabriel had to tend to everyone's bites and cuts. Manon, of course, seemed entirely unbothered, almost pleased by the marsh's rotting beauty. Rowan scouted in hawk form, Lysandra slithered underwater, and the rest trudged through shoulder-deep muck while Aelin blasted fiery paths through the reeds. She also used her dwindling magic to dry everyone's clothes, a small release valve to keep her power from demanding more. She noticed Lysandra smiling at Gabriel, the two of them unexpectedly getting along. Rowan told her their destination lay straight ahead. They would reach it by the next afternoon. His magic could feel it, though he didn't dare fly too close. They cleared a space to camp, secure enough for the night. Adian cooked whatever unfortunate creature they'd hunted, producing something slimy and chewy, enough to make Lysandra gag. Aelin begged him never to reveal what it was. They teased Dorian about still eating like a fine lady, an old joke from a decade ago, when suddenly a scaled creature lunged for Manon. Before Aelin could react, Dorian's magic froze the beast mid-strike. Manon considered killing it, but ultimately ordered him to release it. Rowan dryly noted how convenient it was that Aelin's flame shield had vanished just in time for a magic lesson, earning a swallowed laugh from her. Manon's attention shifted to the eye of Elena hanging at Aelin's throat. When Aelin said it was a gift, Manon corrected her. It wasn't Elena's eye at all, but the symbol of the three-faced goddess, Mother, Maiden, and the darkness within. Iron Teeth Blue Blood prophets tattooed it over their hearts. Aelin remembered how the amulet had reacted the first time she met Baba Yellowlegs. She thought it was a warning, but now she wondered if it had been recognition. Baba Yellowlegs had known about the word keys and gates. Knowledge Manon said was not part of the Iron Teeth history, but Baba had been ancient enough to remember things long lost. When Lysandra asked about the Iron Teeth curse, Manon explained that Rhiannon and Kraken had cursed the 3 matrons, and through them all Iron Teeth witches. They would win the war, but never the land. It would rot beneath them, and their witchlings would be stillborn. No one believed it until crops died and witchlings were lost again and again. The matrons exiled their people, sending clans to check the cursed lands periodically, but none ever returned. Every Iron Teeth witch pondered the prophecy, which was blood to blood and soul to soul. Be the bridge, be the light. When iron melts, when flowers spring from fields of blood, let the land be witness and return home. Aelin muttered to Dorian that now he understood how maddening Elena could be. Gabriel then warned Rowan to take Aelin and flee. Whatever awaited them tomorrow had been waiting a very long time. He believed Aelin and Manon's lives were intertwined, drawn together by forces beyond their understanding. Fenris agreed. 2 queens, 2 halves of the continent, 2 sides of the coin. Both half-breeds, Manon, Iron Teeth, and Kraken, and Aelin, human and fey. Between them, they represented the 3 great races of the earth. It felt as if they were walking straight into the hands of whatever power had been manipulating events for ages. Maeve, they said, had always sought someone who could lead her to the keys, but she had never mentioned the lock. Rowan learned that he had already been replaced by Cairn, a brute who delighted in suffering. If Maeve and Aelin ever met on the battlefield, the destruction would be catastrophic. Fenris suspected Maeve was waiting for Aelin to nearly destroy herself defeating Erewhon, then strike when she was weakest. The fact that Fenris could even say this out loud, despite the blood oath, meant Maeve wanted Rowan to know this information. Fenris reminded him that Maeve didn't simply kill. She punished, tortured, and broke people over years. She wanted Lorcan dead so he couldn't join forces with Aelin and the 2 most powerful males alive. Lorcan and Rowan. Fenris warned Rowan to be ready for anything and added that if Maeve ever ordered Fenris to kill Aelin, he wanted Rowan to kill him first. But Rowan said Fenris would be dead before he got within a foot of Aelin. Fenris only smiled, grateful he'd been able to be part of this journey at all. While Gabriel looked quietly at his sleeping son, the weight of tomorrow heavy on them all. Lots of things going on. I think the most important, though, is definitely Manon noticing the eye of Elena, but not as Elena's eye, but as the 3-faced goddess, which is interesting. I don't think we've heard this yet. So why does Elena have this amulet? Because she is older, right?
Yeah,
Than
she's
the-
Brandon's daughter.
so she's older than even the Kraken witch
Mhm.
that cursed them and all that stuff.
I would say yes.
Well, it kind of makes sense that this Eye of Elena, they're connected by it, even though we're just learning this for the first time.
Yeah.
Because of what Fenris and Gabriel tell Rowan later in this chapter about how they were somehow brought here by fate and something crazy is going to happen. And they're like two
Mhm.
sides of a coin. They're both half-bloods.
Yep.
And they're all three of the races of
I
the
know.
earth, the
It's so
witches, the fae,
crazy.
and the humans all between them. So like that made me really nervous for what's to come with them.
Yeah.
But hopefully they learn to work together because I feel like they're definitely going to need each other going forward.
They're just too similar,
Yeah.
I think. And they're going to butt heads a lot.
Yeah. And I think it's just important to note here that Aylin's using her magic in little spurts here and there to dry clothes and to like protect them from bug bites. But we know because of what happens later in this section that she's really just like honing in on her well of magic here as well
Yep.
for a big boom at the end.
It is quite the boom at the end of this section.
Quite a boom. And we learn a little bit more about this curse. So we knew there was this curse on the land. We already knew that the witchlings were dying, that the crops were dying, and they were exiled. But I don't think we ever get this like prophecy before, which I'm like, ooh, you know me. I love a prophecy to figure out.
You do love a prophecy. You do love a riddle.
So I had to write it in here, and I will be thinking about it and pondering the last couple weeks of the book about what this could mean. Although I'm sure we'll be finding out soon.
I'm sure we will.
Indeed. When
Indeed,
iron
darling.
melts, when flowers spring from fields of blood, let the land be witness and return home. What could be done? They have to, I think, do something to come together, like all the witch clans, in order to go back home. It's going to be something like that. I don't know. I'm going to take some time to ponder for sure.
You should write it on your whiteboard.
Yeah, let me write it on my whiteboard and stare at it. I'll just copy it into my notes and put an alarm on my phone to go look at it every day.
Yeah, just like
So I think it's interesting that Maeve also doesn't ever mention this lock. So now we have Elena, who didn't mention it, who was originally helping us. And Maeve has no idea, which means Lorcan and Allied have no idea why they're in the Stone Marches. Nobody really knows, which freaks me out.
Yes.
I feel like somehow the Val controlled these people to tell them to get this lock for a reason. Like I feel like they put them on the wrong path for some reason. I feel like something evil is going to be unlocked here that we weren't meaning to unlock, unfortunately. That's just how I feel.
We'll have to wait until next week.
Yes, we'll have to wait until next week. But one last thing I want to note about this chapter is Fenris saying to Rowan, if I ever get the order to kill Aelin, like, please don't let me do it.
Oh, I know.
Which is like so sweet. He's like so happy to just even be a part of this little journey and doesn't know what's going to happen once Maeve comes back in the picture. But he's like, don't let me kill that little crazy fire bitch.
Yeah. They're like becoming friends.
Pretty soon she's gonna have oh my god, I forgot to write this down. I'm so glad I just thought about it. I had this out of the world prediction that if I literally guess this, I will never make another prediction again because I will never top it.
Okay, what is it?
I was thinking, remember when we learned about the blood oaths and why Rowan's was different to Aelin because hers was out of love and Maeve's was kind of out of something else that wasn't love, like dictator vibes.
Yeah.
What if a blood oath to Aelin out of love trumps dictator bond to Maeve?
Oh.
And they can get out of their blood oath to Maeve by making another blood oath to Aelin.
Interesting.
Out of love. Because they're going to love Aelin and they don't love Maeve.
They don't know.
So I'm just going to pat myself on the back for that one.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. For now, we're back in Tower of Dawn. Sticking with me again.
Yeah, sticking with you. Last 2 chapters of Tower of Dawn.
Yes. Chapter 41. Sartok and Hulin spent an entire week digging through ancient records to uncover old maps of the Dago Fells. What they found was unsettling. The Karankui's territory, once small and contained, had expanded dramatically in recent years. With that knowledge, they prepared for the rescue mission of the stolen hatchlings. But first, they had to convince Bort to stay behind. Hulin delivered the order, and Bort was furious. As heir, Hulin told Bort her duty was to her people first. She snapped that if that was true, Sartok shouldn't be going either. But Sartok countered that if being his father's successor meant letting others fight in his place, then his siblings could have the crown. In the end, the plan was set. Nezrin, Sartok, and Falcon would go alone. If they didn't return within 4 days, an army would follow. They had half a day to fly down, 1 day to scout, and 1 day to enter the Karankui's lair and retrieve the stolen hatchlings, and 1 day to return. If they were lucky, they might also learn what the ancient Fae had feared about the spiders and how they had once defeated them. As they flew, Nezrin asked Sartok whether he truly meant what he said about refusing the throne if he couldn't fight, and he admitted he did. A life trapped in court was not what he wanted, even though he was favored to become Kagan. For all he knew, his father might choose Duva instead. She was the only sibling who had produced offspring. When Nezrin asked why he wasn't married, Sartok said he had just never met a woman who felt right. Nezrin was surprised their father allowed them to marry for love. Even Duva, who had chosen an arranged marriage simply to avoid courting foolish men, and it had worked out well for her. Nezrin wondered why they didn't end the brutal tradition of siblings competing for the throne. Sartok said maybe one day a ruler would love their siblings more than they honor tradition, or perhaps the coming war would decide the succession for them.
Oh,
Nezrin felt a
jeez.
pang of guilt. Asking the Ruckin to join the war had been easier before she knew them, before she knew Bort, her betrothal, and the weight of their lives. Sartok told her about Bort's mother, killed by a poisoned arrow, and how devastated Bort had been when he returned carrying her body. That was when her feud with Uran began. Bort had competed fiercely in the annual gathering, 3 days of contests among the clans. Uran once tried a borderline cheating maneuver, but Bort anticipated it and beat him anyway, then tackled him to the ground and punched him senselessly. She won again the next year. Then, a week before the most recent gathering, Uran arrived, spoke to Bort only for less than half an hour, and left. A week later, Bort won again, and Uran's father announced their engagement. Everyone was stunned, even Bort, though she pretended otherwise. Sartok suspected the war might force them to sort out their feelings once and for all, too. At last, they cleared the mountain peaks and saw Dago Fells spread before them, draped in thick, silvery webbing. They circled overhead, searching for a safe place to land. Sartok ordered Kadara to fly higher and stay hidden. They saw no spiders, but they did spot movement, a hatchling. Kadara dove fast, Nezrin's bow drawn, ready to snatch the young rock from danger. But just as Kadara reached for it, she slammed straight into a massive web stretching invisibly between the 2 peaks.
Oh, shoot.
Oh no, darling. We are caught in a web. Poor Kadara.
Poor Kadara.
They were trying to stay hidden, but obviously they're there to rescue the hatchling. So if they see one, which they should have known better that it was going to be a trap, but I mean, what are you going to do? You're not going to leave it knowing it's a trap. You're going to have to save it no matter what.
I know.
Before we even get there to the devastating ending of this chapter, we figure out that the Karankui's territory has dramatically expanded in recent years, which means obviously they've been planning for something, which is stealing these hatchlings. And what are they doing with these hatchlings? I don't even want to know. They must be turning them into some crazy Valg creatures, which I'm sure we're going to come into contact with on the battlefield, but we'll leave that conversation for then. Bort gets kicked out of the mission. She's pissed, but she's the heir. Sartok says here that, because he's the heir too, and she's like, well, what about Sartok? And he's like, well, if I can't fight, then fuck it. Give my siblings the crown. Which I feel like is major foreshadowing again for him not being Kagan, even though he's favored to be Kagan. It's never who's favored. Never. So they go alone on this mission, and they finally fly in this territory, see webbing everywhere. They know they're about to come in contact with these webs. and these spiders. They don't really see any movement except for this poor little hatchling, and they fall for the trick.
Yep. So sad.
So sad. Also, we learn about this like annual gathering competition, and that's kind of the history between Bort and Uran. I think it's kind of like insinuated that they had like some kind of deal for her to win these games and be his bride. But then it's like even Bort was surprised about it. So I'm like, was it a plan? I'm like so confused. But
Yeah, I don't even remember if this is even important to the
yeah.
story.
Yeah, I'm like, that was kind of weird. I feel like sometimes with Tower of Dawn, she just has to put things in place so that certain chapters line up with certain chapters.
Mm,
You know, like so
yeah.
much happens so fast in the other books, like to make them the same size, she must have to put filler stuff because I feel like that's filler stuff, like this annual gathering. Like,
Yeah.
did we need to know that? Probably not, but
Probably not.
great. Bort is a champion. Here we go. We
Here
got
we
another
go.
champion in our pocket.
Yeah.
Here we are. Kadara is stuck, and we are in danger.
So crazy.
Mhm.
Tower of Dawn, Chapter 42. The hatchling proved to be a trap, a realization that struck Nezran just as Kadara crashed into a massive web strung between two bound peaks, a net designed to capture Rux. Sartok anchored Nezran to the saddle as Kadara screamed and thrashed, slamming into the stone while they fell. Sartok observed most of the impact, and though both he and Nezran were battered and cut, nothing appeared broken. Nezran begged Sartok to get up as they took in the damage. 30 feet away, Kadara lay tangled in silk, but Sartok reassured her and began cutting her free. Falcon, still alive in Nezran's pocket, Nezran joined Sartok and helped him while he worked on cutting Kadara out of the web. Nearby, the hatchling struggled weakly before being seized and silenced by a spider.
Ugh.
As more danger closed in, Nezran shot an arrow that killed the spider, holding the hatchling, buying Kadara enough time to break free and take flight. When a second spider leaped towards Kadara's back, Nezran brought it down with another arrow, allowing Kadara to escape. She warned Falcon not to attempt shifting. He had yet to master turning into a ruck and could only manage smaller forms like a wolf. With half a dozen spiders emerging from the forest, Sartok turned towards Nezran and Nezran urged them to run. Instead of fleeing into the pines, they raced into the dark, winding mountain pass ahead.
Crazy.
So we're left on a cliffhanger with them because we don't know what happens. They're just
I
running away
know.
from these half a dozen spiders that have just appeared.
Yeah, and there's webs everywhere, so I know there's more spiders. This is gonna
It's
be
like they
crazy.
literally landed in their home base.
Yeah,
Is basically where this trap was set,
and they fell exactly into
where they wanted them to.
yeah,
Hmm.
which means there's definitely more prepared to strike if needed.
Yeah. But I kind of forgot that Falcon was like in her pocket as
Yeah.
like, and then she's like, oh, thank God he's alive. I felt his leg move.
But I
But
thought he tried to come out, and she's like, not yet, not yet.
yeah, she was like, not yet. Yeah. It's interesting. He's not as strong as Lysandra is. And so
Yeah,
I feel like we're so used to seeing Lysandra being able to kind of conquer and take on any form she wants.
yeah,
Falcon is struggling with larger forms.
yeah. Which makes sense. I mean, Lysandra pretty much trained her shape shifting with fucking Rowan, who is like a badass trainer, whereas Falcon's kind of learning on his own from his own family history and knowledge.
But yeah, these damn spiders. I don't even
Ugh,
want to talk about what they did to that hatchling.
I know. Silencing as in like
Dead.
which is so sad and not funny, but ugh.
Yeah.
So I guess they aren't turning them into Valg unless they don't need to be alive to be turned into a Valg.
There has to be some sort of reasoning to be stealing them, or they wouldn't be
Yeah.
stealing them unless it's just for food.
No, I feel like they have to be using them.
Yeah.
If they're
Mitten's just
turning like humans into these crazy things, imagine what they can change a creature into.
yeah,
Creepy.
crazy. Empire Storms Chapter 54. Manon revealed that the final stretch of their journey would be the longest, though they were now agonizingly close to the lock, Aelin saw. As they traveled, Manon reflected on her strange connection to Aelin, but still couldn't identify its source. She later questioned Dorian about how Aelin intended to use the word keys to banish Erewhon, the Valg, and all they had created. Dorian admitted he didn't know, assuming Aelin would reveal her plan only when it suited her. Dorian observed that whoever wielded the keys would decide who was banished along with the Valg, and believed that the world should be grateful that Aelin would be the one holding them. He confessed that he wanted nothing to do with the keys himself, admitting he had killed his father and destroyed the glass castle, and that if he possessed such a power, he might do the same across the continent. Driven by grief over Sorsha and her death in a world that had never been kind to her, though no one else might remember her, he promised that he would. Manon accepted this quietly, ignoring the flicker of relief that crossed Dorian's face. Rowan's calculations proved accurate, and by midday they had reached the lock, its presence unmistakable at the surrounding land seeming to lean away from it. Despite sensing nothing overtly wrong, the group decided to scout the area, unsettled by how easily they had arrived. A brief flirtatious exchange passed between Aelin and Rowan before they discovered a chest submerged in water and covered in word marks. Aelin warned Manon not to touch it, and before they could decipher the markings, Lorcan's warning signal flared. Rowan leaped into the air to scout, while Lysandra confirmed the threat, an approaching aerial legion, not Iron Teeth witches, but Ilkin, and there were 500 of them.
So now the Ilkin have finally gotten to them that Lorcan and Alide saw at the beginning of the section.
Yes, just taking us a bit to get back to it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was so interesting that Dorian thinks that he shouldn't be trusted
Yeah.
with the keys, when in the last section that we just had, he describes to Manon how he has a line even with his enemies.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is like a contradiction of his previous statement.
True. That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
So when I was reading this chapter, I was kind of confused by this whole interaction.
Yeah.
Dorian just seeming colder, the comments about Sorsha like coming out of nowhere, and that if he held all three keys, he would destroy the world. Like that's doesn't sound like Dorian at all.
Yeah.
So I thought that was weird, and I didn't particularly like
That
that.
was weird. Now that you put it that way, for sure. Weird.
Yeah. Even the way he
Maybe
was
it was just
talking,
supposed to show them like bonding a little, I guess.
I guess.
Because she's a queen too, so she's probably thinking like, why aren't you, like, you're a king, like, why don't you have any say in this? Like, you're just mopey and quiet.
Yeah.
But I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I just thought that was weird. But
Yeah.
they reached their destination. They reached the lock, and even the weeds in the marshes are leaning away from this chest
They're
that
like,
they find. Yeah. What? Nothing to do with you. And it's eerily quiet in this
yeah,
area, but they don't
no
see
bugs.
anything overtly wrong with the scene, but they think that finding this was far too easy and that there has to be some sort of trick.
Yeah.
But we don't get to find out, though we find this chest that's covered in word marks. But before Aelin can decipher any of the word marks on the chest,
Yeah.
we feel, or they feel, Lorcan's warning signal. So they know Lorcan's in the area now.
Yep.
And it alerts them to the Ilkin that are about to attack them.
Yeah. The only thing too that I was thinking about during this chapter too was Alide and Aelin are finally gonna get a reunion. And
I
although they
know.
kind of do, they kind of don't. And I'm
Not
just
in this
like,
section, anyways.
yeah.
It's kind of like at the end, it's like, okay, let's go say hello, but it hasn't
Yeah, but it
happened
hasn't
yet.
happened. Yeah.
We're so
But she
close, but
does
yet
see
so
her like
far.
in action and she's just like, ah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, yay, I can't wait for next section. But we got to finish
Yes.
this one first.
That is true.
Empire of Storms, chapter 55. Lorcan and Alide raced through the marshes, Lorcan unleashing bursts of power to keep the Ilkin at bay, desperate to reach Aelin before harm could come to her. Erewhon had tracked them and sent 500 Ilkin soldiers to attack, forcing the group to shift priorities when the lock proved useless. Aelin, relieved that Fenris and Gabriel stayed to fight rather than pursue Lorcan, prepared alongside Rowan and the cadre, though Rowan resisted her plan to confront the Ilkin head-on. Tensions rose when Adian lashed out at Aelin, blaming her for Erewhon's army finding them, but the group quickly turned to battle preparations. Aelin offered Lysandra the choice to avoid fighting, yet Lysandra chose to stir the marsh creature's nest to create chaos. As they readied their weapons, Aelin claimed the first shot, determined it would be the only one needed, while Dorian vowed never to be taken prisoner again, and Manon grimly offered to end his life before that fate. Aelin reassured them that no one would die or be captured. Her power would decide the outcome. Though tempted to use the word key, she met resistance and instead surrendered fully to her fire, abandoning her humanity to embrace the vast inferno within. In that moment, Aelin Fireheart soared to the core of her power, the full depth of her power. The inferno went on and on.
Wow.
Crazy.
I
So,
also hate Adian.
yeah,
Just
I was gonna say, now we have Hater Adian back on his bullshit. Like, you see the fucking black sky coming and you think now's the time to pick a fight with her. And maybe the only reason why I can think that he did it is to really make her angry to the point where she can dig even deeper into her power and hit even harder. Otherwise, I can't figure out a reason why he would even open his mouth at this point.
right. Yeah. Well, because he's an Adian and he's an idiot.
Yeah. He's like, well, you're the fucking reason why they're coming. And like, he's kind of right, but also at the same time,
But this is a war.
yeah. Like,
People are
when you
always
think
going to
you're
be going
gonna,
after her.
yeah, they're never gonna not be after her until
Yeah.
the war is over. So I don't know. I just thought that was unnecessary for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But Fenris and Gabriel didn't immediately go after Lorcan, which is nice. They're
Mm-hmm.
staying and playing well with our group here,
They're
not
great
really
play
leaving them.
dates.
Lysandra is even given the choice to go or fight, and she's like, I'm going to go shake up some nests, and we need some creatures to be on our side as well. So she's going to create the chaos with even the marsh creatures who are going to think that it's the Ilkin disturbing their nests and fight with them.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we'll take all the allies we can get, even the mistakenly accidental ones, I guess.
We need all the help we can get.
Yeah, literally. Dorian's having a little moment where he's like, I will not be taken again by them. And Nod's like, don't you worry. I will end your life before that happens. And he's like, okay, thank you. And Aelin's like, no. Nobody's being captured. Nobody's going to die because I'm going to blast these motherfuckers out of the sky. And nobody's going to even have to do another shot after that. Which obviously we know is not the case, but she does have a pretty powerful inferno of fire coming out of her at this moment in time. So let the action ring on.
Yes. So that brings us to our last chapter of the evening, Empire of Storms, chapter 56. Lorca knew they would be too late, even with the warning signal, as Alide struggled to keep up, gasping for breath. Before the Ilkin could reach them, he gave Alide Aethriel's ring, insisting it would protect her from the Ilkin and ensure she would never be forced back to Marath. When they finally reached the marshes where Aelin and the others stood, Lorcan saw that everyone was positioned behind Aelin as she dug deep into her power, using his warning to set a devastating trap. Realizing that they were exposed on the wrong side of the blast, Lorcan forced Alide to the ground, shielding her with his body and pouring all his magic into a protective barrier. He recognized the terrible truth of Aelin's power, magic that surfaced only once in an age, not to reshape the world, but to begin it anew. At the command, Fenris, Gabriel, and Adian loosed their arrows, and Aelin unleashed her fire. Even with Rowan's shields and her careful control, the heat scorched those nearby as the heart of the Ilkin Legion was annihilated. Though some Ilkin resisted longer than expected, Adian realized there had to be a terrible cost to such power, recalling the witch's words, "Nameless is my price." As understanding dawned, Rowan walked straight to the firestorm and towards Aelin. Pinned beneath Lorcan as flames raged overhead, Alide endured the searing heat that caused the marsh water around them to boil. Fire was soon joined by wind and ice, shredding the remaining Ilkin, but also tearing at Lorcan's shield. Lorcan grimly noted that if Erewhon ever managed to collar Aelin, the world would be lost. When the battle ended, not a single Ilkin remained alive. Rowan kissed a completely drained Aelin, and Lorcan knew the fight was over. He told Alide they would approach the group despite strained relations, but his focus was on Aelin, but his focus on Aelin made him miss that Gavriel and Fenris had already moved from their hiding places in the reeds. Dun, dun, dun!
And the meeting shall commence next week.
Yes. Everything will come to be next week.
Yes, but what a wild ride this was.
Yeah, I mean, again, we get to see Aelin's power in full force.
Yeah.
Allied gets to see it for the first time, and I think Adian has now realized what nameless is my price means for Aelin, and maybe
Yeah.
that should make him feel bad for what a dick he was to her.
I know, but what exactly does it mean? Does it mean she's gonna like lose herself to the power and not know who she is?
I can't tell you anything about what that means.
Okay. I feel like the whole thing with Maeve saying that, like, is she gonna be the price for Maeve? I don't know. Something to also ponder in these
Yes,
closing
just write
weeks.
the witch's prophecy and nameless is my price, and just
Stare at
just
every day.
ponder those things.
Okay, darling. Sounds like a plan.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, darling. Well, that's all we have for you today. Please let us know what you think by leaving us a review and comments on any of the platforms you are listening/watching on, or on our social media pages. This helps tremendously to get the word out and lead more listeners to find our show and tune in. And come join our book club Discord. You can find the link in our bios on Insta and TikTok. And next we are reading The Hunted Heir and The Rivaled Crown by Holly Renee. We love chatting with you guys, so don't be shy.
Don't forget to email, follow, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and tell all your friends about us. And we hope the rest of your day is blissful. Bye!
Thank you so much for listening. Join us next time for part 10 of the Tandem Read by Sarah J. Maas, featuring Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. Happy reading!